Hey guys, James again for TFBTV, and in this episode of TFBTV, I'm going to teach you how to shoot your gun. And what I mean by shoot, photograph. I know a lot of you guys like to take pictures of your guns to post them on galleries, to post in threads on your local gun forum or whatever, or to post your classifieds, to buy, sell guns, whatever. And interestingly, eBay, they've got all these statistics on sales and the effect certain factors have on sales. And they say that your item is much more likely to sell if there are good pictures of it. It's going to sell, and it's going to sell for more money. So it's really important to be able to take good pictures of your firearm, especially if you're going to be buying and selling guns. There's a popular misconception that you need a really nice camera to shoot pictures of your gun and to take great pictures, but that's really not the case. Many cell phone cameras are just fine now and even surpass the quality of higher point and shoots from even 5 years ago. So your cell phone camera is going to be just fine. There are really more important things that lead to good looking photographs than just your camera. And number one of those, the number one most important thing, if you're going to take a picture of your gun or anything for that matter, you need good light. And what do I mean by good light? Well, you want a nice even light on your object, and you don't want it to be too bright and you don't want it to be too dark. Photographers refer to something called the golden hour, which is the hour after sunrise or the hour before sunset, where you have nice even light outdoors and you just take fantastic pictures. And that's when most professional photographers will take pictures for weddings or architecture or whatever. And the reason for that is if you go out in the daytime, in the middle of the day, and you've got sun beaming down on your object, it's what they refer to as very harsh light. Harsh light will blow out your subject, make it too white, remove all the detail. You can't see anything. Here's a couple of pictures I took showing what harsh light looks like on a gun, and you can see it's hard to see detail. Now, on the flip side of that, I would suggest almost never taking pictures indoors. You're just not going to have enough light. Now, there are exceptions, like if you have a really well-lit room, like a sunroom, or a room with a lot of even fluorescent lighting, that may work. But even then, it's kind of tricky. But typically, most of us just have a house with incandescent bulbs and light fixtures, and it just doesn't put out enough light, and the light it does put out is really warm. You have warm light and cool light being a bluish hue and warm being orangish. So with low light, what your camera is going to do to compensate is it's either going to up the camera's sensitivity to light, the sensor's sensitivity to light, and that leads to higher noise. That's what the ISO number is, ISO. Now, another thing that could happen is your shutter will stay open longer to compensate for the lack of light, to let more light in. And you start to get into trouble once your shutter is staying open longer than an eighth of a second. I think an eighth of a second is probably the slowest shutter speed that you can use and still take a pretty crisp picture. Anything beyond that, and I'll post a few images here to show you what I'm talking about, it gets blurry even from pressing the shutter, and you lose a lot of detail. It just looks bad. So assuming you don't have any good lighting anywhere, when's the best time to take a picture? Well, dusk or dawn, or if you have a really overcast day. Overcast days can sometimes lead to really good photographs outdoors. Now, the number two most important thing, and somewhat related to light, is exposure. Now, perhaps the second most important thing is getting proper exposure. Exposure is similar to light, but exposure is a setting where your camera manages the light that it has in order to make the image. When you adjust your exposure, you're adjusting your camera settings to either let in more light or let in less light. I guess the best way to put it is if you have good light, so you've met step one, well, now you need to figure out how to help your camera take advantage of that light. And that's what exposure is. You can see in this video, I've got a little click wheel on this camera that lets me adjust my exposure on the fly. Be mindful of managing your exposure. Now, if you can't manually adjust your exposure, perhaps the next best thing, you'll probably get good exposure if you also get good focus. And that's the third most important thing. You want to get your object, the object you're taking a picture of, the proper distance from the camera, and you want the camera to be in focus on the object to take a nice crisp picture. Most cameras on your phone will use your touch screen, and then you can touch the object you want to focus on, and your camera will automatically focus on it and select the proper exposure. If you can't get it right the first time, just keep trying till you get it, then take your picture. And I'd say finally, in this very simple cursory lesson in photography, is to have interesting composition. And what does that mean? That means make your picture interesting. A lot of you guys, you know, everybody feels compelled to get the entire gun, especially if you're shooting a rifle, to get the entire gun in the shot. And so you'll see a lot of pictures of the guy standing over the gun. You'll see his feet, and it'll be on his carpet. And, you know, those turn out to be kind of junky looking pictures. Don't obsess with getting the whole gun in the picture every time. If you have a handgun, that's easy to do. If you have a rifle, take several pictures of each side of the gun. Not only will it give your prospective buyer more detail and more close-up look, but he knows what the gun looks like. He knows what an AK, what an AR looks like. He's going to want to see the details, and the shots are just going to be more interesting. So pick a good background. I mean, really, grass works. If you have a nice countertop, but make sure it's something that's not too reflective, because if that's the case, then it'll throw off the light that's going into your camera and it could make the picture look bad. So pick an interesting background and compose your shot so it's an interesting picture. Play around a little bit, take a few pictures, take a few dozen pictures, and then pare them down. Pick the ones that look good and keep working at it, and you'll take a really great picture of your gun. And make sure you're keeping an eye on your focus and an eye on your white balance. If you're taking pictures and they're looking too blue or too orange, see if there's a way you can adjust your white balance on your camera to make it look better. And another thing that I'll note, if you guys are familiar, some of you use Instagram or whatever, familiar with saturation, if you desaturate your image, remove some of the color from it. Most of these guns are black anyways. So if you remove some saturation, remove some color, you tend to get a better, higher quality picture than if you actually enhance your saturation. A lot of photographers will salvage really bad low light photography with a lot of noise by converting them to black and white. Just removing that saturation really helps with the overall image quality and the sharpness. In any case, guys, just get familiar with whatever software you're using or with your camera or whatever device you're using. Get familiar with it, learn how to use it, learn how to change the settings and adjust it. And I'm telling you, taking pictures of stuff you like, guns, cats, cars, whatever it is, can be very rewarding. So just keep working on it. And I'd say a good resource, it's called the Bastard's Book of Photography. I think that that's one of the best resources for beginners. So if you liked this video and you want a little bit more information on how to take better photographs, the Bastard's Book of Photography, which I have no affiliation with whatsoever, is a great place to start and to get some beginner to intermediate information. Anyways, I hope that was helpful. Thanks for watching, guys. See you next week.